The latest North Star and Cvent Meetings Industry Pulse report tells a pretty clear story. The planner sentiment is clearly shifting. Most planners are less optimistic than they were just 2 months ago, and pessimists outnumber optimists for the very first time since the pandemic ended. Yet, despite the sentiment shift, planners are booking and sourcing at the same level as they were just a year ago, and the perceived value of their meetings remains strong. More than 60% of planners say that their meetings have been affected by the change in the current presidential administration. All of that to say that planners are still building, they're still moving forward, but they're doing it with tighter margins, less optimism, and a lot more complexity, especially when it comes to slow RFP cycles, rising AV and venue costs, and the pressure to prove ROI and ROE while doing more with less. Which is exactly where AI enters the picture. Not in the high P, AI will save everything kind of way, because what we're seeing on the ground and what the industry data keeps confirming is this: AI is being turned on, but not always turned into outcomes. The tech is there, the interest is high, but without a clear structure, most teams end up right where they started, only now with another layer of noise to manage. And that's exactly what today's session is about: moving from overwhelm to real impact by using AI strategically, not reactively. This session has already been recorded and deployed on Cvent's Q2 Partners Town Hall webinar. And this is just the section that I was presenting on for the benefit of all of you that might have missed it. My name is Anca Platon Trifan, an AI strategist, technical event producer, and founder of Trifan Event Productions. With 20 plus years of live, virtual, and hybrid event production experience and technology, I've worn every hat behind the scenes, from audio engineer to video producer to show caller to technical director to executive technical producer, translating complex stack into clear, human-centered experiences. As an AI strategist and speaker, I focus on translating AI potential into practical outcomes for professionals, making technology approachable and results driven by cutting through AI noise and building systems and frameworks that boost clarity, efficiency, and results. My Fit for Events framework blends smart technology, AI tools, AV production, audience engagement, and team well-being to create events that run smoothly and make an impact. I also host Events Demystify podcast, a top 5 AV and event technology podcast, and I've been named one of 2025's top 50 voices in events. When I'm not producing shows or leading workshops, I'm training for bodybuilding shows and competitions. I mentor women in AV and AI, and I redefine what strength looks like on stage and off stage. In the next couple of minutes, I like to set the stage and look really quick at what's actually happening out there. There have been two reports that are worth mentioning here. Earlier this year, the EIN AI report came out with their AI report, a cross-industry project that I contributed to alongside other event professionals, tech innovators, and planners. And just last week, I was on a panel on Smart Meetings Radio with Amanda Strong from Encore, who shared their version of a report and insights from their internal AI planner usage report. Here's what stood out. Across both reports, the interest in AI is pretty high. Planners are experimenting with content generation, surveys, agenda building, but structure consistent use is still catching up. The teams seeing the most momentum, they're not just using AI tools, they're embedding them into sourcing, AV planning, speaker prep, registration workflows, you name it. And on the vendor side, AI is already being applied in meaningful ways, from personalization and accessibility to sustainability and sponsorship targeting. Here's a quick comparison, the results of two AI reports mentioned. The potential is clearly there, but the opportunity lies in turning scattered efforts into systems. Both reports highlight the same truth. Success with AI doesn't come from just using more AI tools. It comes from building structure around them. With ownership, when ownership is clear and training is missing, it's easy for efforts to stall. When ownership is unclear and training is missing, it's easy for efforts to stall. But that's not the dead end. It's actually a starting point. And a lot of the poll results that I have run across many of the AI workshops and speaking engagements that I give pretty much reflect the same reality. There's a high curiosity, there's a growing use, and a clear hunger to go deeper. So let's build on that momentum by putting strategy behind the tools. Before we do that, however, I want to highlight this tension that I see every single day, the pressure to do something with AI without a system to support it. And it all sounds so familiar. But here's the problem. And as the results of the reports mentioned earlier, it all looks so familiar. And here's the problem. We're not struggling because AI doesn't work. We're struggling because we're skipping the why, the who, and the how, and jumping straight into the what. This is where fragmentation creeps in. Systems don't talk, teams don't align, and suddenly the shiny AI tool becomes just another unused license. We're not stuck because the tools are bad. We're stuck because there's no strategy. So let's get into the system because without one, well, AI is just noise, as I said earlier. The framework I use with clients is called the 5 P's framework, and it exists for one reason, to move you from scattered experimentation to connected, measurable execution. So let's get into the system. First and foremost, you need a purpose. You have to start here or don't start at all. Too many teams are plugging in AI because, well, they feel like they should. Everybody is, right? That's not strategy. That's technology FOMO. And it leads to inefficiency, confusion, and even loss of time. AI only delivers when it solves a real business problem. So ask yourself, where are the bottlenecks in this event cycle? Where is my team buried in repeatable manual work? Where am I losing time, money, or trust with my stakeholders? We saw that some of the challenges that planners are struggling with, and we're talking about 60% of the planners that contribute that challenge to economic conditions which have impacted their events right now. And then there's AV cost, staffing, venue response times, which are also major pain points. Many planners are still managing sourcing and RFPs manually, and fast timelines only make that so much harder. Registration and vendor workflows are still being rebuilt, often under pressure. But that's where I think AI can shine when it's given a clear job, not to replace people, but to reduce friction. Whether it's automating the RFP response scoring, preparing the speaker briefs, or streamlining post event reporting, the purpose isn't to just throw technology at the problem, it's to solve the problem with intention. People is the second part of the framework, the second P. Here's the shift most teams miss. Tools don't drive change, people do. Confidence in AI usage is tied to training and workshops. So let me ask you something. Who owns AI on your team? Who's responsible for results? Who's trained to train how to use it? And who's turning insights into action? You can't just assign AI to everyone and expect progress. You can't just roll it out to marketing and ignore other verticals like production. If you build in silos, you will fail in silos. Upskilling has to be intentional and role based. AI that isn't tied to real job functions, well, guess what? It won't get used. Purpose, process is the third P. This is where most teams stall. The problem isn't the tools, it's the lack of integration. AI gets introduced, but no one knows where it actually fits in. Think about it like this: you bring a brand new player onto the field, but there's no playbook, no positions, no rules of engagement. In order for this to work, you need mapped workflows, defined AI entry points, review and approval checkpoints, and the human in the loop systems. Say you're using Sparkit to generate speaker summaries, but no one reviews them and no one edits them or integrates them into the session prep. You don't have a process. You have a task, and tasks don't scale. Platform is the fourth P. There are a lot of AI tools and features out there. I mean, we've mentioned Sparkit, Cvent's Plan Pilot, AI matchmaking, the writing assistant, nowadays, HiveGPT, so many. And those are all strong tools, but strength means nothing if it's not aligned with your purpose, your people, and the processes. When AI is tied to clear goals and workflows, adoption goes up and manual work tends to go down. As far as what are we looking at next, we're already in the future. AI workflows and agents are here. Then these are not just tools. They're role-based assistants with memory and task chaining. Think like you'd have a content agent that manages your session production pipeline, or a planning assistant that preps briefs, checks speaker logistics, and summarizes post event engagement, or an AI agent that calls other AI agents at different venues and properties on your behalf to book a venue or a space. These are all powerful, but without a clear system behind them, they're just another shiny object. Performance is the fifth and last P. If you can measure it, well, don't implement it. Too many AI rollouts die after launch because no one defines what success looks like. I once watched a project lead present a new AI rollout with so much excitement, only to have leadership ask, what did it actually do for us? And if you can answer that, you've got a problem. Smart AI execution means starting with one pilot use case, a prototype, mapping dependencies, technology, people, timing, cost, allocating resources for training and quality assurance, defining success metrics that matter. This is where AI becomes more than just a tool, it becomes a growth leveler. Now, I want to share with you what happens when you don't do this work. I recently spoke with a marketing director who rolled out an AI content tool across their entire system and their entire team, but skipped every bit of the foundational prep from the 5 Ps that I just highlighted. No clear purpose, no upskilling, no mapped workflows, no review systems. Several months later, they had all this duplicated content, inconsistent tone, and a total brand voice crisis. The tool did what it was designed to do. There just wasn't a system to support it. They lost time, team morale took a hit, and client deadlines slipped, and they had to pause the whole initiative just to backtrack and rebuild. So, if you're thinking of implementing Gen AI or any other technology across your workflows, here's your action plan. Start with the honest 5P framework audit. Prioritize gaps that impact the rollout success. Build the 5P framework into implementation, not before it. Allocate real resources, time, budget, and attention, and track the health of the framework just like you would track performance. I'm a professional bodybuilder in my spare time, 2 weeks away from my next fitness competition. And I can tell you, even pros do foundational exercises every single week. You will never outgrow the basics. You just get better at integrating them. Now, a couple of examples of what happens when AI isn't just used, but integrated. A newly opened hotel here where I am based in a competitive tier 3 market needed a smarter way to prioritize RFPs without adding sales headcount. We built a custom GPT model using ChatGPT that scored leads by planner type, timing, budget fit, and historical patterns. It returned not just a number, but actionable reasoning. In the next several months that followed, during our next check-in, they saw a 25% boost in conversions, faster responses to high-value leads, and less time wasted on low-fit ones. Why did it work? Because we didn't over-engineer it. We used the tools they were already using. We layered AI for lead score forecasting, analysis, and we embedded the 5P framework into their weekly sales process. In another use case, I partnered with an AV production company that was managing about 50 to 70 events per year that wanted to stop chasing gold leads and start closing more high quality repeat business. Using their own CRM data, we built a lead scoring model to evaluate planner behavior, event type, budget fit, and rebooking patterns. We identified high repeat value clients, and then we sync score directly into their CRM using Make and Zapier trigger automated flows based on historical buying cycles. The outcome, a 50% increase in signed contracts over 12 months period with a 40% reduction in time spent chasing low probability leads and a more predictable high quality sales pipeline without having to add sales staff. This wasn't about automating noise. It's about sharpening focus and winning smarter. And one more example here that was shared. Personalization at scale gets thrown around like a buzzword, but it's already real when it's built on behavior and connected systems. And it's already happening. Cvent engine adjusts content based on attendee interaction. Guide Geek uses AI to personalize trip planning for destinations, like, for example, Visit Idaho. Hotel chatbots upsell based on real-time guest behavior. And Eva by Events Case, it's a new tool that I just learned about actually this week, focuses on personalized event experiences through WhatsApp with multilingual capabilities and integration options. Highbar combines AI Copilot with fully featured mobile event app, is a progressive web app requiring no downloads. Personalization is real, again, when it's built on actual behavior and connected systems. And when it's done right, well, it drives upgrades, conversions, and sponsor ROI and ROE. Now, I know what you're thinking. Personalization sounds great, but can I actually trust AI with my data? Yes, but only if you're intentional. Privacy is a high priority. Never just drop attendee list or contracts into public tools. Use secure enterprise grade platforms. Remember, when you use free tools, you're basically paying with your data. Bias, that's still very much present. AI reflects the data that it's trained on. Narrow data equals narrow output. That's not just unfair, it's really a business risk. And then compliance. GDPR and CCPA still apply. Consent, access, and usage rules don't vanish just because you're using generative invisible AI. So the bottom line is AI is only as trustworthy as the systems around it. We've seen what happens when trust and strategy aren't aligned. Even AI pioneers tend to get it wrong. Take Klarna, for example. Last year, they made headlines claiming their AI bot could replace 700 customer service agents. The result? Furious customers, brand damage, and now a full pivot back to a hybrid model with remote more passionate users providing support. It's a reminder that AI cannot be a shortcut to cutting people out of the equation. Even Klarna admitted they leaned too hard on cost savings and quality suffered. AI shouldn't replace people, it should support them. The goal isn't fewer jobs, it's fewer bad jobs. When we get the balance right between automation, augmentation, accountability, speed, and substance, AI becomes something that people trust and want to use. Here's what makes AI effective inside an organization, not just interesting. Use your own data. Plan to activate what you already have. Built in human review. AI is fast, but speed without oversight is a risk. Tie it to real workflows. If it doesn't fit into how your team actually works, it won't stick. Assign clear ownership. If no one owns it, no one drives it. That's the difference between checking the box and driving real results. AI should serve your strategy, not just your curiosity. Now, let me zoom out for a second. The future isn't about adding AI to your product or your service. It's about rebuilding the product and the service around AI. And we're already seeing that happening in the marketplace. AI assistants that don't just remind you of your task, but do the actual work. Law firms run by AI, not just software for lawyers. Clinics where AI handles diagnosis and care plans. AI tutors coach in real time, adapting to how students learn. AI voice agents that replace the very frustrating phone menu and customer service pain and more. AI isn't a trend. It's a full reboot of how organizations are being built. If you haven't started upskilling in AI yet, start now. If your team isn't AI ready, fix that and fast. As I'm wrapping up here, here's the bottom line. AI isn't coming. AI is already here, and the teams that are getting results, they're not chasing AI tools. They're building systems and frameworks with structure, ownership, and purpose. So if you're serious about making AI work for you and your team, lead with strategy, not hype. Use the 5P framework to guide execution. Start small, prove value early, scale what works. Build around the people, not just the platform. And measure what matters, not just what's easy to track. Because the future of events isn't about being AI powered, it's about being AI aligned. And with that, if you're interested in more AI tips, news, and insights, connect with me on LinkedIn at Anca Platon Trifan, where I post daily. Another great resource is the podcast that I host, Events Demystify Podcast, where I get to chat with top event industry leaders on all things AI, AV, technology, wellness, and so much more. And if you want to go deeper into this and any other AI topics or AV topics, I've built an entire YouTube playlist of previous talks and presentations that go deeper in any of these segments covered. Thanks so much for being here. And if you're interested, please sign up for my upcoming on-demand AI course specifically for event professionals.